All right, I'm gonna be honest about what actually happened in deciding to do this video. I put on a robe. I have a lot of robes. I put one on that I hadn't put on in a while. And in the pocket was a Dior blush that I had misplaced, a brand new one. When I initially ordered these, I ordered one that was shimmery. I didn't love it, so I ordered one that was not shimmery. And then I thought intelligently I was going to put it in the pocket of my robe. Definitely remember where I put it. And then I did not. So I did finally come across it. It is rosewood. And then the old brain wheels started cranking because I thought about the price of it. And then I thought about a lot of the other Dior things that I love. And I was like, I wonder how much a full face of Dior would compare, I don't know, to a Louis Vuitton eyeshadow palette. Price-wise, you know? Like how much could I fit inside of $250? And the answer is a lot. So today, this might end up being a series if y'all like it. We're gonna be doing a full face of Dior. There will be other things slid in, but the main characters today are going to be Dior, and all of it comes in under the $250 price tag that is on the new Louis Vuitton quad. I don't want to give off the impression that like the Louis Vuitton quad is keeping me up at night, but it's a great way to show perspective against other brands that identify as luxury brands and see how much your $250 could get you. So anyway, it's gonna be a beautiful face of makeup. Let's go ahead and jump in. I do need to put on sunscreen. I just got done with yoga and then I took a shower. So I have some moisturizer on, but no sunscreen. I'm gonna use the one SPF 50 Invisible Sunscreen Gel from Allies of Skin. Stuff's lovely. If you are, I always say this, if you're looking for a chemical sunscreen that does not have any color to it and also isn't dewy, this is your girl. Smells like a pool floaty. I don't know. Some people might hate that. I don't mind it. It doesn't linger. It's just it's a funny smell. But yeah, I feel like anytime you talk about sunscreen in the comments, there's going to be at least one person being like, God, why is everything so dewy? And it's like, this is not dewy for once. Okay, so the blush isn't the only new thing today. When I reviewed their foundation, their newest foundation stick, I got the wrong shade and it was really hard for me to like get a good read on whether I liked it because when the shade is wrong, it's hard to guess, you know? I think they expanded the shade range, but I think my shade has always been there. Either way, it came up as like new on Sephora and I was like, I need to buy my shade in it. Plus, Dior sent me a couple of shades, but they guessed at my skin tone, which is just always a bad idea, and they were both too dark. I gave one to Rebecca and another one is like back there somewhere, but it's like way too dark. So I ended up with 0N, and that is what we're going to start with here today. So this is the Dior Forever Skin Perfect 24-hour multi-use foundation stick. It retails for $57 and it has 25 shades. It says it's a buildable foundation stick that glides on smoothly, evening out your complexion and eliminating imperfections in a single swipe. The heat and humidity resistant formula has a blurring filter effect and can be used as a foundation or concealer for touch-ups on the go. That's what I really love about this. Do I have concealers from Dior? Yes. Are they lovely? Yeah. But you don't need it if you have this. Like, it builds on itself so beautifully because it is feather light. It is weightless. And it's not typically the type of formula that I go for because it is not particularly dewy. Other things that we're going to be putting on today are going to bring the dew factor, no big deal. But I love that even though it has this like sort of hybrid satin finish to it, it works at every single coverage level. You barely have to put any of it on. And then you can, like I did, build with a complexion brush, like a concealer brush, and get more coverage out of it. But I really admire a formula that has that much flexibility. Like, that's an everyday kind of foundation to me when you can get that kind of flexibility out of it. And when it has this like soft focus blur to it, because that is a very accurate description of it, it photographs beautifully. My friend H. Allen, who I just did his podcast, The Parting Shot, over at Newsweek earlier this week, we talked about the Louis Vuitton launch and everything and what it means in the overall luxury beauty landscape. I will link that below, but he was talking about how this is his favorite foundation for photo shoots. It just gives a really, really flawless finish without being a ton of makeup. It still looks pretty natural, but doesn't give any flashback. And I don't have to powder it. I, as a dry-skinned person, don't have to powder, which is great. Things I love. Things I just will never shut up about. One of them is this contour stick. I mean, honestly, they call it a contour, but Rebecca, who is my green friend, Your Green Friend Reviews Beauty, I always recommend for the green folks out there to follow her blog. She's over on Substack. She uses this as a bronzer. It works beautifully as a bronzer. I did just order the House Labs contours. I ordered 2 of them, so we will see, because it's always challenging for olive undertones and cool undertones in general to like find something that is actually a cool enough contour that it works on them. So this is not like the grayest, coolest, fairest, desaturatedest thing in the world, but it is an absolutely beautiful contour. I bought another one for New York. Like, I can't be without it. So this is the Dior Forever 24-Hour Skin Contour Stick Sculpting and Bronzing Face Stick. So they are aware that these colors work differently on different skin tones. I think that this works beautifully as a bronzer. As you see how I use it today, it's like I'm gonna build it where I want some contour, but I'll sheer it out where I want the bronze effect, and it just kind of does everything. It's great. I have shade 1. There are 4 shades. It retails for $50. So it has a very similar finish to it to the foundation, where it has that lightweight kind of airiness that blends really easily. It has a little bit more creaminess to it though than the foundation. I find the foundation to be just a little bit drier overall, and not even in a bad way, just in a descriptive way. I swear by that contour. Okay, we have the blush that I was talking about. This is Rosewood. This is in the Rosy Glow stick that they came out with, and they came out with a bunch of them. They came out with ones that were shimmery, and I was actually really sad because there's like a beautiful beige that I bought, but it's like too sparkly. And when I say sparkly, I mean they're sparkly. This one is not, but I actually haven't used it at all yet, so this is what. Ooh, it's beautiful. That's what it looks like. Rosewood, I think that the powder of Rosewood is like much more desaturated. It's a more complex tone than that, but what I really like about this is the amount of dew. I'm excited about adding a little bit of skin texture back in, so let's see how she goes. So this is the Dior Rosy Glow blush stick. Like I said, it retails for $44, comes in 7 shades. They are claiming that this is hydrating, so you do end up with an opportunity to add some dew to the skin, which is lovely. It says, in just one swipe, this long-lasting, buildable, and creamy stick blush format of Rosy Glow delivers pH-activated custom color with a natural, dewy glow finish. Now, Dior is, to me, kind of the exception. I usually object wholeheartedly to pH color adjusting, color adaptive products, but they put so little of the actual ingredient in their stuff that I don't really notice it at all. So it's also in their powder blushes. They do make that claim, but like I have never noticed it to necessarily be any more than like maybe actually softly adaptable, but it really just looks true to color on me. I just really like it. I think it's beautiful, and again, I loved the formula of the first one. I was just disappointed because the glitter was so glittery. I like a blur. I don't mind like a shimmery blush in any format because it'll give a really nice blur to the skin, but I mean, it's like straight up glittery, so that was not for me, but I like this one. Okay, so let's move into eyes. If y'all are new here, I'm pretty notorious on my channel for like being disappointed in regular Dior eyeshadows, the quints that they sell. I just don't like the way that they're put together. The formulas are gorgeous, and when like we're talking about singles and stuff like that, I'm not going to be putting this on today, but this is Poncho in the Monocolor Couture High Color Eyeshadow, number 481. Just a ridiculously beautiful formula. I just don't like the way that they combine their colors in their palettes. It doesn't make any sense. But what does make sense are the Dior Backstage 9 pans. They're not inexpensive either. Dior Backstage is not like that much less expensive than proper Dior. It's just kind of their Backstage brand and the packaging is a little bit different. I don't find that the quality is different at all. Like I find that the quality is just absolutely lovely. In fact, I tend to kind of confuse them often. You know, it's not like the foundation is less of a foundation than the regular Dior one or something like that. Like they're all really beautiful in their own right. It's just a kind of stylistic difference. Like there's just different decisions that are made between Backstage and like regular Dior Beauty. So I happen to have here the Warm Essentials. I don't know when this was new. It probably was a long time ago. I bought it when I thought that it was new, but I think it was some kind of re-release. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful. Let's put it on. I'm gonna start here with our kind of like fair medium tan color. I love how like you get so many options. Everything does feel really intentional. It feels like a nice tight color story that still gives you like fun and options and texture and things like that. It's like if you can't say it in 4 or 5 pans, then don't try and say it in 4 or 5 pans. Make a 9 pan. You know what I mean? I'm not mad. A lot of people have been asking me lately about Viseart, and it's so funny because I bought Viseart palettes back in the day and I didn't like them. And I think it's because they were unexciting to me, and it's like I have moved now into unexciting makeup, like categorically, proudly, happily into unexciting makeup. Things that are just in beautiful soft textures that blend really easily and are pretty close to my skin tone. Yeah, I think that all the reasons that I like ruled out Viseart in the past are kind of moot at this point. I think that I need to start gravitating back towards Viseart as a brand because they do some really gorgeous stuff. I was just like underwhelmed by their shimmers, but it's like, I don't think I'd be underwhelmed. Like my expectations are correct at this point, and also I'm not just like salivating for like the most insane blinding shimmer anymore. All right, I'm gonna go for this kind of pearly shimmer shade. We're gonna use that to like seal the edges and highlight everything here. I love easy. I just love easy. I'm gonna grab the deeper brown there on a smaller brush. This is still quite red. I think that all of this goes really nicely with rosewood. And we have a few lip options. Some of them are a little like a couple of bucks over. So it's like if I were to use my favorite thing from Dior, which I may, it just depends on where I land in this. My favorite Dior lip product is the Lip Maximizer, just the little like long skinny lip glosses. I make an excuse to buy those an embarrassing amount. And they are, I think, $42. And then their lipstick, that it's not like their lipstick, it's their, oh God, I don't know. It's this thing. It's like it doesn't say what it is, but it's like a balmier lipstick. I think that it's like 45 or 47, something like that. So again, it like comes a little bit over the target price range, but I haven't decided which one I'm gonna do yet. But it's like, you know, just on principle, if you go a couple bucks over, okay, throw in a Louis Vuitton lipstick in terms of budget. That just buys us another $160. I've been seeing so much interesting discourse about it too, because they did a really, I mean, a predictable but fascinating thing at the end of the day, which is they sent it to so many people who are beloved. You know what I mean? They sent it to like, hey Claire, like she hasn't done a makeup tutorial in God knows how long. God knows how long. I haven't even seen a video from her in God knows how long, but she got it. I mean, she's a makeup artist. She's a makeup artist. She's a very successful, gifted makeup artist, but she's not very active on social media. And so her coming back to her platform to review this PR package, no one is going to in her cereal, okay? Like no one is going to say something like, wow, I can't believe you did that. Like they really sent it to people that were so revered that they're almost more immune to criticism in that sense, because obviously people are just grateful to see anything from these certain creators. So, and I mean, it's like really talented people. I mean, then they also sent it to Meredith Duxbury. I mean, TikTok has a power that is like hard to really quantify. But I think that they did, you know, if I'm kind of generalizing, I think they sort of put creators in a weird spot because of course, if you got sent this in the mail, you're not going to protest being sent it in the mail. It's a cool thing. You're not going to criticize it and be like, wow, guys, please never send me anything again. But at the same time, I think everyone understands that. I think everyone watching is kind of like, well, they kind of put that person over a barrel, you know? I can't really take them at their word. And a lot of them aren't even saying anything. They're just being like, ooh, ah, swatching, whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's an uncomfortable thing to share. The price points put those creators in a weird spot. It opens creators up to so much criticism that could so easily have been avoided. But instead they're making creators who, again, are, it's like you're sort of obligated. Like if I got that sent to me in the mail, I would still show it to you. I'd be like, this is weird and I object to the pricing, but like this is, I have it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you an experience of it. Fortunately, I don't have that weird decision to make because they don't give a crap who I am. But at the same time, I do feel for those people. It's almost, I mean, because it's such like an unnecessary amount of criticism to invite into your platform just because someone else chose to make this controversial product that's literally controversial just on the basis of price. So far, at least. All right, we got a nice little warm brown here. I'll stick that right on my lid. Yeah. It's just such a beautiful autumnal palette for warm undertones. There are plenty of people who this would make you look very sick, and then there are plenty of people who love that. I've like heard in the comments are like, that's gonna make me look like a bruise, and people are like, I like it when it looks like a bruise, and then there's people are like, that's gonna make me look sick. People are like, I love it when it makes me look sick. And I'm just like, I love that it takes all kinds. I just love that. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the gold, and these are just such like sheer washes of texture, even in the more textured textures. she said in Dr. Seuss. My kid has been making me read the Lorax to him every single night. That's a bummer. I'm like, why am I so depressed? It's a lot of things, but it's definitely the Lorax isn't helping. But yeah, the textures aren't that textural. They're pretty low key. Copper colors are always going to make like green and blue eyes pop, but I would argue any warm complexion, it's just gonna sing because brown eyes too, like kaboom. Right? So again, this is the Dior Backstage Eyeshadow Palette. It is $55 and it comes in 3 shades. It is Smoky Essentials, Nude Essentials, which has a primer in the middle. The other 2 are all powder. And then the one that I have in my hands, which is Warm Essentials. At least that's what they have on Sephora. There might be more. What I like about these is that for each color story, we're not talking about something that's just like a shrinking violet. We are getting some cool, committed temperature colorways, you know? There's excitement here. There's also versatility here. I used almost every shade in the palette. The only 2 that I didn't use are the orange and the pink, and you could see how those could take you in other completely different directions when you're doing an eye look with this palette and be totally versatile. Like you get really, really cool stuff out of this. So all of them are like that. They had one, I think that might be the one that's out of stock, that was like lavender. I accidentally recycled it. That was in my old house. That was a heartbreaker. I was like, oh, I was gonna review that palette and I was like, that box is gone. I think I threw it away. Yeah, oh, that's a dark memory. There are many times that I have done that. So much coming in and going out. I have thrown makeup away that I bought. That is a terrible feeling. So anyway, those are the Dior products so far. We're still going to do lips, but before I do, I'm going to do like eyeliner and mascara. These are things that I don't really swap out in my routine very often. I keep like one mascara open at a time, things like that. My brow products. Like these are just things that you're not gonna see on like heavy rotation with a bunch of brands. They're mainstays in my routine. And then we will come back and talk about some Dior lips. Is cute. So this is Diorette. That could be so beautiful with this. Like, do I want to just use a gloss? Kind of, but that also just totally kicks ass. Oh, I want to stay within the rules, but everybody else is probably like rooting for it. Hang on. All right, so I think I want to continue using Revie Beauty Almond lip liner. It's just been something I really enjoy lately. It reminds me a lot of my Kackie lip liner, but I really like the formula. This Ally Glines' line. It's just really nice. And I think it's gonna be nice because we're gonna use Opal in the Dior Lip Maximizer. I also have the beige. It's definitely in a bag downstairs. My boyfriend's doing like an interview for a new candidate, so I'm gonna like not bother him right now. I'm not gonna be just like bopping around the living room, but make sure you get these exactly how you like them because once they're dried down, they're down, girl. They're down. So this is Opal. Again, I have the blue one, I have the beige one, I probably have another one floating around somewhere, but I wanna show it to you. Gorgeous. They're just a really lovely, nourishing, long-wearing little guy. Easy peasy. And like the Opal you can see has a little reflective quality to it. So this is the Dior Addict Lip Maximizer Plumping Gloss. Comes in an absolute menagerie of shades. I believe we have 24 shades in this and it retails for $42. It is a plumping, hydrating, high shine finish, hyaluronic acid, shimmer finish lip gloss. Now, I do feel like we ended up with something pretty high contrast. So if you wanted to go $4 over, if you wanted to go for $254 total. And there are just so many other ways that we can combine Dior products for under this price point. I mean, they have a bunch of lip glosses and lipsticks and other blushes and other eyeshadows and things like that, that like, you know, you don't have to go this exact route. But I hope that it being Virgo season, not too many people are mad at me for going $4 over. But I want to show you how beautiful this formula is. Look at that. Super nourishing. None of these has a really obnoxious fragrance to it. And this also you can do a little bit of blush with. kind of bring everything together, make it spicy. Okay, so the only thing that I feel like this really needs to just pull it together is my like under eye powder here. This is in the matte bronzing brick from Victoria Beckham. I like to use this lighter shade to just kind of blend underneath my eyes because my concealer shade versus my blush just tends to be a little bit glowy and stark because my eyes are deep set and my skin is really fair and I like to wear a lot of blush. And that's it. So yeah, y'all, we're in a weird era of beauty right now, especially as someone who has gravitated more and more towards luxury beauty over the years. You know, I did not, and I said this before, it's like I didn't expect to reach my upper limit so suddenly in terms of what I'm willing to spend on one makeup item. And then Louis Vuitton in 2025 decides to come out with this line that is just so outrageously overpriced for what it is. I mean, it's not even that the products are worth it and we can't afford it. It's that I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's not worth the amount that you're trying to charge for it. There's a difference. But also it's like the people who can afford it in a lot of cases, like they say in my comments, you know, they're just like, I can afford that, but I'm not going to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it. I don't want it for that price. That's stupid. And also, there's this new layer where I feel like they're putting creators in a weird position by sending it to them in PR because they've made the price point so high that they then make people who feel lucky to have received it in PR, they make them feel obligated to like either don't say anything or to defend, which I don't think anyone really can, but like defend the quality of the product for the price or something like that, which is just such an unfair thing to do to creators because it's putting them right in between you, the brand, and the customer so that they can catch the backlash instead of you. And I just think that that's really rude. I think it's really rude. The whole thing is pretty uncool, but I wanted to put things in perspective because again, it's like brain exercises that I've been doing in my own time. You know, I'm just kind of like casually like, I wonder how much Dior you could get for a Louis Vuitton palette. We can do more of these, y'all. I have all kinds of beauty. Doesn't even have to be luxury. We can get full faces of whatever for $250. Like, let's go. What brands do y'all want to see next? Because this was really fun and I feel like it's just on the whole really positive. It allows me to dip back into my stash and share some beauty that isn't necessarily brand new that I do love. And it helps us also try and break whatever stupid spell Louis Vuitton Beauty thinks that they're putting on the industry right now. So if y'all like this, please give the video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. If you are new here or you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe while you're here. We would love to have you. I will put a video up here that I think that you will enjoy if you liked this one. Thank y'all so much for being here, for hanging out with me today. I love you so much and I will see you in the next one. Bye.